Patrick, you're typing away. Are you still talking about Tucker Poolman?
No, I'm writing out the thing that you want me to flex about.
Oh yes, you need to flex. And the biggest non-move for the Canucks.
We'll right off the top. I mean,
off top.
You asked me the other day, and I kind of gave you a hard time because you made me do an up, down, yes, no answer.
And aren't you glad I did?
Yeah.
You should be saying
leadership.
Thank you, Quads. Go ahead.
Wise beyond his years. Well, Phil Kessel. I mean, that didn't end up getting signed. I asked Alvin about it. In the end, there were a few things he listed, including LTIR. But also, what was it? The way we want to play.
The way we want to play.
The way we all picked up on it.
The full quote from Alvin, I have it right here because I tweeted it out. The full quote from Patrick Alvin when he was asked about Phil Kessel. I think Phil is a great person and a well-respected player with what he's done in the league, a 3-time Stanley Cup winner. He wanted to come back and play with LTIR roster complications and how we want to play. It unfortunately wasn't a fit for us. Of course, the Canucks brought Phil Kessel out here. He's been working out at Abbotsford for the past 3 weeks. Did not work out. No signing to report ahead of today's deadline, which would have, they had to get the signing done because it would have made him playoff eligible, but they do not sign Phil Kessel.
Yeah. And in the end, I think it came back to that way we want to play. I mean, whether fitness or fit or whatever. I mean, he mentioned cap, all these other things. They could have signed him.
Yeah.
There was cap space to sign him. There was, they could have had him. They would have had to probably, I mean, surely they would have sent him on a conditioning loan. They wouldn't have just put him right in the NHL, but point is moot. The other one is, as I mentioned, I followed Patrick Alvin after the press conference because he kept talking about LTI.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about this right now?
No, not yet.
You want to save it? Okay.
I don't think you've done enough to take a victory lap because for those that don't know, the other day what happened, it was during anyone else, which will come up later. Got a lot of new listeners on the show today. It was during anyone else and someone asked, do the Canucks sign Phil Kessel? And I've given my take. I thought they were going to sign him. I was just guessing. And then I asked you, and you said, no, I don't think so. And then everybody threw it out on Twitter that
you're the only one.
Yeah, you're the only one saying he's not going to sign. And people saying, Patrick Johnston reported. And then people calling into question your integrity, all that sort of stuff.
Is this sourced?
Yeah, is this sourced?
Twitter's wonderful, isn't it?
Well, anyways, I just don't think you've done enough of a victory lap.
It was sourced.
And
I talk to people. That's my job.
You also haven't thanked me yet.
Thank you, David.
Okay, perfect. Now we can move on.
Can we change your name to Jim and then it'd be really funny?
Yes, exactly. Your conversation with Patrick Alvin about Tucker Poolman. Yeah, conversation. Sure. Yeah.
Conversation.
It's kind of conversation.
We talked to Patrick Alvin for quite a while. And then I was sitting there and this is how it gets made or not made. I'm sitting in the press conference. He keeps talking about LTI. And I'm like, oh, wait, I have a question. And so I get the mic ready to go. And I don't know what happened. I blanked. All of a sudden, listening to, I think it was Gemma Carson Smith. Welcome back.
Made her return. Her triumphant return.
Gemma was asking her question, and I just started blanking. And I couldn't remember what I wanted to ask. So I said, oh, well. And I handed the mic back, and that was the end of the press conference. And then I'm walking out of the room, and I all of a sudden remembered what it was.
I was with you when you remembered.
So I decided to reach out to Alvin, see if he would say something further. I said, listen, here was a question I meant to ask, and I forgot. And now I've remembered it. What was the question? And I said, have you guys talked a lot about LTI? Have you considered or have you explored moving Tucker Poolman's contract? Of course, he's under contract for anotro year. He is the reason they are in LTI.
Yeah.
Right.
$2.5 million this season and next season.
Give or take has been, I mean, if they've found ways to shove his contract completely off the books. So they've been able to manage around it, but they have not been able to accrue cap space, as he pointed out, because if you are an LTI, you cannot accrue cap space. So, conceivably there would have been days this season where they would have been like $1 million under the cap, and that adds up and that lets you do things. And there was clearly moves that he wanted to make that he couldn't make because of retention issues, what have you. So in the end, I said that, and he replied and he said, yes.
So they have looked at moving Tucker Poolman.
Yeah, they have looked. I mean, they've tried all kinds of stuff. I think that shows you the sort of extent to which they did try to make things happen. Obviously there were all the noise about the three-way trades and what have you, which, this is a team that I think has wanted to be aggressive, but has been limited by choices made before, choices of their own making. Because of course the OEL buyout starting next year, the penalty for that will be their own choice, but they've also brought players in. They've got things to manage around. But the Poolman one sits there, and that's going to be, it's not a huge issue right now. It is an issue, I suppose, if you want to understand this week. But going forward, it's going to be a question I think we're going to be looking at again.
I really wish his response to you was, no, actually, I didn't know I could do that. Thank you. And then first day they're allowed to make trades, Tucker Poolman gets moved.
Yeah.
That would have been very special. Yeah. That would have been different gym. Canucks Conversation is live Monday through Friday, every weekday at 2 p.m. over on the Canucks Army YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and interact in the YouTube live chat every day with us, folks.